Hopefully every one of you guys are staying safe and are masking up every time you are outside of the home, because listen, it's crazy out there. I actually know someone who contracted it and seems to. Now, it's really, you know what it is for me? It's really the after side effects for me. That's what it is for me. It's the after effects. Like, the girls are not talking about the after effects of COVID. People are reporting permanent brain damage. People are reporting impotency. People are reporting all kinds of things after they have contracted COVID and seemingly have gotten better. So, interesting to note. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and I'm going to set the table. All right. And we are back. So, as I kind of waxed poetic to you about all of the things that I've been dealing with, 2020 has been a year of like just amazing highs and some sad parts, but number one, I feel like in those moments the struggle really for me has been praising through the circumstance, and not getting caught up in the moment, because that's what they are. They're just moments, right? The last subject that I want to broach for 2020 with you is self-loyalty. Now, you may be asking yourself, what is self-loyalty? I have been in love with a lot of men who are self-loyal. And it's not like a thing that like you see immediately. But if you've been around someone enough, right? You know the difference between them being like selfish, which, been there too, versus self-loyal. And, the last person that I was with, I remember saying to him, I really admire how self-loyal you are. And, I said it in a way where I kind of wanted to jab him a little bit. And he actually he didn't take offense to it. He was like, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, And I'm like, well, why didn't he ingest it as me trying to jab him, trying to say that, you're selfish or, but the difference between his self-loyalty and selfishness have a lot to do with one's dedication to self on a true basis, to be more conscious and be more happy, versus, the energy of just scarcity and not feeling like there's enough for you. So you just wild out and you want everything. You're just selfish, everything for you without rhyme or reason. Shakespeare once said, "This above all, to thine own self be true. And it must follow as night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man." Loyalty to oneself. You know my story, so you know that I am a people pleaser by nature. That's who I was raised to be. And sometimes, for all of you who are parents out there, I I warn you, raising a people pleaser for your own self-benefit will only backfire. And what I mean by that, don't raise your daughter to be this giving, nice person, but your son can be an asshole. The whole idea is to really not be selfish, but to be selfless. Which may not make any sense, because how could self-loyalty have a foundation in selflessness? Self-loyalty for me isn't about more for myself. It's really about taking the time to know myself. I mean, think about it. We know everything. You and I spend, the reason why, I'm able to talk about an Iggy Azalea situation for Christmas with you is because she's no different than any other baby mama out there for Christmas who had to do it on her own while that trifling ass nigga is somewhere with some bitch, unable to control his urges, unable to deal with the harsh realities of what life is. So he's going to go immerse himself in pretense. Because that's not life. Life is not an Airbnb with someone that you don't hardly know. Life is your kid. Even if you decide that that relationship is not for you, respect your kid enough. That's why we talk about other people's business, but let's not front. We know everything about everything, right? I know what kind of drink my boss likes. I know, how much my family loves certain things. I know what ticks off my partner. I know his buttons to push. I know his favorite color. But how much do you know about what actually brings you joy? How much do you know about what actually makes you happy? That's self-loyalty. And for most of us, even if we know the answer, how many of us are placing priority on that? How many of us are placing priority on laughing? On just joy. When was the last time you had a good belly laugh? I'm fortunate enough to be around people every day that I work with that, if for nothing else, we're going to laugh. We're going to laugh together. We are going to laugh together. And it's an amazing feeling, and I feel very blessed for it. Listen, you don't have to be a megalomaniac to value your own happiness. But think about it. It's usually about everyone else. Everybody else comes in front of us. Being self-loyal isn't just about what makes you happy, but it's actually about prioritizing and making sure that you get enough to feel happy. Like, for instance, right? I am an introverted extrovert, meaning I can go out there and be social, but there are very much times where I like to shut off and I just like to be by myself. I enjoy my own company. And so sometimes that means I have to turn down social opportunities that might exhaust me. Sometimes that means that I don't have time to explain to anybody why I'm shut off. And I don't have to. See, this is the key. You'll miss the point if we do something to take care of ourselves, but then beat ourselves up for being lazy or selfish or even just different. Giving yourself a lazy Sunday, but then beating yourself up for not doing anything all day, that's not self-loyalty. A lot of us don't even like ourselves. Now, it might be a little bit of a stretch for most of us, right? Most of us are okay with ourselves. One thing I struggle with is treating myself gently, being kind or being forgiving to myself. I'm generous to myself. That I am. I'm generous to myself. Seeing some sort of good in myself. Not every time I walk by a mirror do I need to be like, ugh. A lot of us grew up with this mentality that we need to be hard on ourselves in order for us to make it. You know, we got to ride ourselves. It's kind of like motivating treatment, if you will, right? Tough love on yourself. You deserve better than that. We deserve better from ourselves. Now, part of being self-loyal is, being okay to feel whatever it is that you feel, because that's a part of consciousness, right? Conscious awareness, that's a part of it. Being aware of your thoughts, your feelings, and the sensations in your body, and also allowing yourself to feel it, to be present in this moment, to be responsive and not reactive. So, in that vein, a lot of times I find myself being either completely insensitive to other people's feelings or overly sensitive to other people's feelings. Like, a healthy coping mechanism is not acting out your feelings inappropriately or wallowing in them. But for a lot of us, that's all we know. But really what it is just paying attention to the feelings and let them matter. To you even, just to you. Your own feelings matter. Now, I'm a person who, the way that I've dealt with my feelings a lot of times is either to eat them, to drink them, to smoke them, to sleep them, but mostly to ignore them. Or to act them out inappropriately. And a lot of times that causes me to not be present, right? Because if I'm not in the moment, then I don't have to feel what I'm feeling. One of the most liberating feelings that I've ever had is when I learned to prioritize my own feelings. And by that, what I mean is, countless billable hours, asking myself, how do I feel? Like, for instance, right now, based off of a situation that I'm currently involved in, I feel